Let's call a meeting to order. It's Municipal Planning Commission meeting February 13th, 2018. Looking for approval of the agenda. If there's any additions or Amber moves. All in favor? Want to do in camera after? Okay. So we can add in camera.
That's fine.
I don't know what the proper procedure would be for that. Are we allowed to do that, or? Oh, so we'll just adjourn it and then bring it up at the end, if that's all right. So Amber moves. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
When it's SD 2017-31, proposal 15 acres. I just looked at it and it's got 3 acres on that 13, on the 31. Cross-reference them. And then 38.
Through the chair, it looks like the proposals are mixed up, so they should be, or sorry, not the proposals, the file number should be the other way around. So the 15.7 acres is for SD 2017-38, and the 3.06 should be SD 2017-31. My apologies.
So when we go through them, will we go through 38 first then? Or do you want to do through the agenda?
We'll go through a numerical order. We'll just make a note that the file numbers were mixed up.
Okay. Everybody make those changes? All in favor of accepting the agenda? Carried. So we have to approve the minutes of January 23rd, 2018 MPC minutes. Everybody wants to look at that?
I'll move the minutes as presented.
Ben moves. Any questions, concerns? All in favor? Carried. So we will move to file number DP 2018-04 Rosebud Memorial Hall Association. Is the owner. The applicant is the Rosebud Historical Society. This is in Division 6.
Good morning. So yeah, this is located right within the hamlet of Rosebud. It's the museum site that they want to construct a semaphore tower, which I will show you pictures of later on in my report. So semaphore tower, beside the museum. It will be strictly ornamental. No electricity will be supplied to the tower. They were wanting to replace the lights in the tower. However, they weren't able to find the replacement part, so it's just going to be ornamental at this point. A tower is a discretionary use in the Hamlet Commercial District, which is what this property is zoned. The maximum height allowed for a tower in this zoning is 50 feet, and this tower is 30 feet in height, so it fits within that criteria. Under the Rosebud Area Structure Plan, there is an emphasis on keeping existing cultural identity of the hamlet, and it is part of the vision of our MDP to maintain the charm and cultural significance of the community. So this application meets that criteria as well. This use was put in the land use bylaw for uses such as this, which are non-typical types of towers, such as ornamental or a private radio tower, meteorological tower, something like that. So this application meets that intention why we put it in the bylaw. Alberta Transportation has already issued a roadside development permit for this. The applicant had that already in place when he came in with his application. There was no concerns from any internal circulation and no concerns from adjacent landowners. So in conclusion, this application meets all the provisions of the Rosebud Area Structure Plan and the Land Use Bylaw. It falls well within the maximum allowable height. Alberta Transportation has no issues, and no concerns have been reported from local staff. So staff supports this application. So the options for MPC are to approve it, to refuse it, or to provide an alternative recommendation. Staff are recommending option 1 to approve this application for a tower to be located on Plan 6742BQ, Block 1 and Lot 3, subject to the conditions in Appendix A of the Development Permit Report, which you have in your package. And those are the conditions, which you already have before you. The location map. And this shows their parking lots are on different parcels of land. So they had to meet the setbacks of their own parcel, which is this, and they do meet those setbacks. And that's the drawing they supplied. And this is just a Google photo that I found. That was what they're after. And some site photos of where they want to place the tower. And that's everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or concerns, wishes of council? I see none. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll move council approve option 1, DP 2018-004, a discretionary use development permit application for the tower to be located on Plan 6742BQ, Block 1 and Lot 3, subject to the conditions in Appendix 1 of the Development Permit Report.
Okay, all in favor of the motion? Carried. We will move on to DP 2018-05. The owner is Dale and Susan Dirch. I'm hoping to say it right. Applicant's the same. This is in Division 4.
Yes, so this is for a home-based business type 3 stair manufacturing, and it's located about 1 mile north of Cheadle on Highway 24. The applicant was initially issued a permit for the stair manufacturing in 2005 and received subsequent approval since then as a secondary use business. Their approval under the secondary use business is expiring on March 12th of this year. And now we evaluate these types of home-based businesses as type 1, 2, or 3, depending on the details in the application and the intensity. So this one has been identified as a home-based business type 3. It manufactures wooden stairs for residential and commercial applications. No new buildings are required, and the operations will not be expanding or changing since the previous approvals. There are 4 full-time employees, in addition to the owner and his son, who works part-time. Some lumber is stored outside on a month-to-month basis and delivered twice a month. And the property has a lot of mature trees, which screen it quite well from Highway 24. So I've put in here our charts, which are criteria for how we differentiate between the different home-based businesses. And as you can see, up to 4 employees is HBB3, as we call it. It's at the discretion of the Development Authority, the commercial vehicles, which they have very few, as most of their work is done off-site. At the discretion, minimal outdoor storage. So that is, and 1 accessory building. So they do meet all that criteria at the time of the site visit. Alberta Transportation issued a roadside development permit in 2008, so they already had that in place. The purpose of a home-based business is to accommodate small, non-intrusive, low-risk, low-intensity developments that are compatible with non-adjacent uses. This business is existing, and it meets the criteria of the home-based business type 3. At the time of the site visit, the outdoor storage was minimal, but from the aerial photos taken in 2016, it looks like it has been more outdoor storage at that time at least. So if any expansion or intensification occurs, the business may need to relocate or redesignate to an appropriate district. There was no agency circulation performed. File review had no concerns, and I didn't receive any responses from neighbors. So it is my conclusion that this business is existing and the application meets the requirements of the home-based business type 3. The business has been operating since 2005 without any complaints, so staff supports this application. MPC has 3 options: to approve, to refuse, or to provide an alternative recommendation. Staff are recommending option 1, to approve DP 2018-005 for a home-based business type 3 to be located at Plan 7610258 Block 1, subject to the conditions in Appendix A of the Development Permit Report, which you have in front of you. And one thing of note is that this is to be issued for a 2-year term expiring on February 13th, 2020. We used to issue the secondary use businesses for 3-year or 5-year terms, so he previously did have a 5-year approval, but now it's always 2 years. So that's what that recommendation is, that condition. There's the location north of Cheadle. Site plan, so yeah, the storage, when this photo was taken, seems to be more extensive than it is now, as you'll see from the photos. That's one of the outdoor storage areas, and that's another one. So there's not a lot there at this point. It's one of their trucks. And that's everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or concerns? Would you like to make a motion?
Move that we, I move that we approve DP 2018-005, a discretionary use development permit application for a home-based business type 3 to be located at Plan 7610258, Block 1, Southwest 124-26-4, subject to the conditions in Appendix A of the Development Permit Report.
Thank you. All in favor of that motion? Carried. So we will move on to Subdivision Application SD 2017-31, correct? Owners SLD Farming. The applicant is Don Jensen. This is in Division 1. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so this is for a subdivision of 3.06 acres from the titled land. It is adjacent to Range Road 223, approximately 4.6 kilometers southwest of the village of Standard. The recommendation for MPC is that they choose option 1 to approve subdivision SD 2017-31 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the planning report. So the background on this application is to provide a subdivision of a previously redesignated parcel, which was rezoned to country residential on May 16th, 2017. It has since connected to the regional water line, which was recently put in the county for water servicing. The area subdivided currently has an older house, which is being renovated, a shop, a garage, and 5 grain bins, and an old shed. The relevant policy and practices include the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, Strategic Plan, and Implementation Plan for Agriculture and Watershed Conservation, the Regional Growth Management Strategy, Section 3.2.4 and 4.3, Municipal Development Plan Policies 3.1 and 3.6, and the Land Use Bylaw, Section 9.3 for country residential. The response options, you have option 1, which is to approve SD 2017-31 with the conditions noted, or option 2, to refuse the application SD 2017-31. As previously mentioned, staff is recommending that MPC provide approval, which is option 1, with the following reasons. I'm going to scroll down now to the conditions of approval so that you may review them. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Motion?
I'll move council approve option 1, subdivision application SD 2017-31 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the planning report.
All in favor of that motion? Carried. Move on to the next one. Our subdivision application file number SD 2017-38. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so for this application, it is to subdivide a 15.7 acre parcel from the titled land. Because of the size and the uses, it is staying agricultural general. The location is adjacent to Range Road 231 and approximately 8.5 kilometers southwest of the village of Standard. Staff is recommending that MPC choose option 1 to approve subdivision application SD 2017-38 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the report. The intent is to separate out the existing homestead from the quarter section, which will maintain its existing agricultural general district zoning. There's an existing dwelling and shop on the proposed for subdivision, and it is used for light agricultural uses currently, as well as the residents. The relevant policy is South Saskatchewan Regional Plan Strategic Plan and Implementation Plan for Agriculture and Efficient Land Use. The Regional Growth Management Strategy, sections 3.2.4 and 4.3. Municipal Development Plan Policies 3.1, 3.2, and 3.6, and Land Use Bylaw, Section 9.1 for Agricultural General. There are 2 outcomes for this application. Option 1 is to approve SD 2017-38 for approval, and option 2 to refuse the application SD 2017-38. And as previously mentioned, staff is recommending to MPC that option 1 is chosen for approval with the following reasons. I'm going to scroll down again to the conditions of approval. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, just through the chair, just the right-of-way beside the road going in there, is that a rail bed?
Through the chair, that's correct. That's a rail.
Has that been incorporated back into title, or is that still a rail bed?
Through the chair, I believe it's not part of that parcel in particular. I'd have to look at the certificate of title again, but they were circulated. They would have been circulated if they were still owned by CPR or one of the railway companies.
Okay. I'm assuming that it's been incorporated into the title to the south then. Just wondering why, if there was an access there, that there's that long neck beside it. The applicant might be able to answer that question. The rail line right away, is that back in title on the other parcel to the south? No, I know there isn't anymore, but was it there at one time?
Through the chair, I believe, from what I can see on the tentative plan, my apologies, I think it's the canal system. It's the WID canal. Yeah. Oh, it's canal.
Kyle.
I'm sure you guys have checked it out. Just curious on my part.
Any other questions? Motion to council.
Well, just one,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
just got one question. I'm just I'm sorry, I've lost my spot here. Okay, on the, on Appendix A, number 6, was that road built up by the, was that road that the remnant parcels, was that built up by the county? Like, was that road redone recently or in the last?
The county road?
Yeah,
The county road was built, the north-south county road was built in.
If you come to the, sorry, could you come to the podium and speak? Thank you.
Dean McKay, I'm Robert and Carol's son. And the county road, I believe, was built in around 93.
so were there approaches put in by the county at
Yes.
that time?
Yes.
And we're asking, why are we asking, if the approaches were built to spec in 93, why are we asking for them to be upgraded? Just a question.
Thank you.
Through the chair, so for every subdivision application, we always ask that the approaches are inspected, and if they need to be brought back up to county standards, they are. From my understanding, regardless of who's built them, we have to ensure that any of those county roads are, any of the county approaches or any of the approaches to any private residence is to standard just because of the use of it. The daily use of it may bring down any of the grade. So we have to ensure that anytime a new one is brought in for approval, that it is checked out by the Public Works Department and upgraded appropriately, if need be. And unfortunately, because some of them are a lot older, they do sometimes get a lot of wear and tear on them, and so they do need to be upgraded, even if it doesn't seem like they may not. And even if it was done by the County Public Works Department originally.
Thank you.
I'll move that the MPC approve subdivision application SD 2017-38 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the planning report.
All in favor of that motion? Carried. So I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn. MPC, and then we'll...
Before we adjourn, I have a question for the planning department, if I could. I should have put it in there first. If I got a, I don't know, I got a phone call from a resident that had some concerns. He's looking at doing a development on a quarter section, which is basically allowed. It's farm location. He's looking at putting another, he's not sure what he's putting on there yet, but he thought he could do when the planning department asked for a description, that he could do a hand-drawn with the setbacks and everything, and he's being told that it has to be a drafted, engineered or something, and he doesn't want to spend $4,000 drawing a picture.
Hello. So I'm not sure of the particulars of this application. Normally, we don't tell people that they need to have like a professionally drawn site plan. What we're trying to get away from is kind of really, really minimal drawings on a napkin sort of thing, which we had been getting quite a few of. So we do ask people to, if you have skills on your computer, to draw it on a computer, or even with an aerial photo, to draw it on an aerial photo, because a lot of the stuff's already on there, and just draw boxes and arrows with your computer if you can. So we have been encouraging people to do that, but not to get it professionally done. We haven't said that.
So he can still, if he does a decent job of drawing it out and showing the setbacks and everything on it, then he could still probably put that forward.
He probably could.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Through the chair, I believe I was probably the one talking with him, and we did discuss that if he was able to draw it out as neatly as possible and show all the appropriate setbacks, put it to scale, that we could accept it. We have in the past. Right now, planning specifically for redesignation and subdivision, we have asked that they get tentative plans done up by a surveyor of their choice so that we have more accurate maps for you as MPC and then for council as well, so that there is consistency across the mapping and that we don't have someone coming in with a final plan of survey with something that doesn't match what they've prescribed on a hand-drawn map. And then we did agree that if he was able to draw it out himself, either on the computer or in handwriting, it's more than fine. We'll take a look at it and determine whether it'd be acceptable or not.
He just has to decide what he's going to do with it.
Okay, thanks. Motion to adjourn MPC. Jason moves. All in favor? Carried.